What's up YouTube, it's me Chris and I've got another great video for you. In this one we're going to be working on a PS4 controller. So I wanted to do this video just to kind of show you all what you can do if you start to experience some controller related issues in your gameplay, sticky buttons, things of that nature. This is a friend of mine's controller, and what's happened is that he has started to get some issues here, and these buttons don't always work, face buttons, everything else. So I'm just gonna show you what I normally do. I'm gonna take it apart really quickly, clean everything, put it back together, and it should be good as new. Just full disclaimer, I'm gonna hit this so you can see that this is in fact a fully working controller. So the first thing we're gonna do is do the tear down, and I'm gonna zoom in just a bit so you guys can see what's going on there. I'm just gonna take off these analog covers. I don't know exactly what these are. They're kind of like Control Freaks, but I forget what brand these are, but they do kind of the same thing to give you extra grip. Make sure in this process that you have a decent to good screwdriver. That's so important because the screws that come with these PS4 controllers can easily strip, and you don't want to do that. By now, if you're watching this video, you've seen me tear down many controllers, and I consider myself somewhat of a controller smith at this point. But I'm gonna take all the screws out, and I'm just gonna give everything a nice once over look at it, and then I'm gonna clean everything and make it basically like brand new again, and hopefully he won't have any of those issues again that he's having with sticking. Got all the screws out, and the next thing I like to do is go ahead and grip the controller with my hands like so, and I put my thumb right between where the PS button is and hold it, and I grab on both ends and I pull it up just a bit, not too much pressure there. Then I start to slowly work this thing so I can get it to loosen up the way that I want it to loosen up. And take your time with this because this step is very important. You don't want to break anything. I've yet to break anything. These are built pretty strong, but you definitely want to make sure that you don't snap these clips that are in here that are up in the top. And you can push in on the front piece. I have actually cracked one of these, so I just recommend tugging lightly until you get it loose, and then you can start to remove the back like so. There is going to be a ribbon cable in here that's connecting where this back LED is lit directly to your main board, and that's so important because that's also how you charge it. So you definitely want to remove that as well. Comes out really easily, and you can discard that piece. The next thing that you have that you want to get rid of is the battery. Just want to pop that guy out, file him to the side, and you want to remove the actual battery tray. And there's a couple other things. You can also remove this reset pin once you get this out. And again, if you take your time, everything will snap out. And one of the things that I just noticed is on this particular model, and they do change the insides of controllers, even though you don't see it on the outside, the actual reset pin is stuck onto the actual battery case. So that's something that's very different, and you would use that if your controller went haywire and you needed to push that reset button in there and make everything work correctly again. There's another ribbon cable in here, and if you flip the little tab down like I just did, you just pop it right up, and then you have a screw to contend with, which is right there on the main board. Once you unscrew that guy, you're almost home free. Take your time, do not scar your board. That is so important because if you scar your board, bad things are gonna happen. Once you get everything loose, like I have here, just navigate it around. And one thing that will hang you up if you're not careful, this one ribbon cable here could start to hang up, so you want to make sure that you guide that out of your way as you start to pull everything out. We're going to do a complete takedown. So with this guy, you just take it, flip it around. It is now out. We're going to take out the I guess this is the option and share buttons, and then we're going to pull off the little rubber connectors, and we're going to take out the D-pad and the face buttons, and two more things, a PS button and its connector, and boom, we're all the way down. So the first thing that I like to do here is grab some rubbing alcohol, will work just fine, and I also keep compressed air handy because I'll blow everything off. Again, I want to make this like brand new, So I'm just gonna get a little alcohol in this top here, and what I want to do is go through and dip my Q-tip in it and start to swab everything to get all that dirt buildup. Because if you look in here, you can kind of see that little black line. That's a dirt buildup, and all the way around. And some people that game a lot, their hands sweat, you get dirt down in there. So we're going to get all that dirt out of there and make this look like new. See what's getting down here on this Q-tip? That's actual dirt coming out of this controller. My nephew's controllers get like that, so because he is a go-getter gamer. So what you want to do is make sure every now and then you guys are taking these things down and doing maintenance, because you don't want your controller to let you down and not perform. And over time, if you don't take care of this, the controller will malfunction like so many people's do, and you end up having to go out and buy another one. And just by doing a little bit of maintenance, you can prolong the life of your controller by a lot. All right guys, so I've got a little piece of just napkin here, and I just come back and double check my work, especially on those face buttons. Try to get those as clean as possible, and then I circle around the analogs as well, just anywhere where that dirt buildup might be a problem inside of that D-pad, and I might grab whatever's left. Then I'll come back with some compressed air, and I am going to go ahead and remove the actual analog sticks and double check those to make sure that everything's functioning correctly. I'm going to look at the board, check all the connectors, make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to pop off these back L2 and R2, and they're really easy to pop off. Just be careful that you do not lose these springs, because that would be not good for you if you in fact did lose it. And this spring is already got a problem. It's not set correctly. Spring should have popped out. This spring should have, and it did not, so that's an issue. So I'm going to go in and investigate and get this spring out. Oh, I know what his problem is. Check this out, guys. This is my friend's problem for one of his buttons. The tab broke off his R2 button. So he has a faulty R2 button, and that's why it's not registering all the time. So one part is in, the other part is out. So I'm going to remove the rest of the barrel, and that spring had spun around in there, and here is the other part that should have connected to this button. So luckily, because I'm a good friend, I probably have a R2 button lying around somewhere that I will gift him, but I just have to look and see. And I think I might even have one in clear, so he'll really like that. I don't need to go in and do anything here. Looks like supposed to. Analogs are functioning correctly. One place I like to hit air is inside of this little area here. Everything looks good here. We can now drop the rest of the body in once we reattach these D-pads, and make sure everything stays positioned. Hold it together. The touchpad goes in bottom and flips around. So just keep your finger there, keep it in place, and boom, it's in. As you start to get it, everything to lie down, what I like to do is grab this and get it close, and then I'll position this so I can slip it back through this hole. And it becomes a bit of a pain, but you can do it, I promise you, just like that. I will go ahead at this point now and drop this screw in so that we can get everything the way it needs to, get everything positioned enough to start final assembly, and get some rigidity back to this. We'll reconnect this cable first. So we'll go in here and we will slide it down in the slot, and these cables only go in one way. So I slid in the slot, and I'm gonna flip this up, and boom, there you go. That cable's back in place. There is a little slot right there. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. That's not on this side. That's where the spring actually lives. And these can be a little tricky, but I promise you guys, you can get them in. Work flawlessly. And these were modified with stops in them. I've taken the stops out, so they'll function just fine normally. But if he wants to go back at some point with his controller and add stops back in, he has every option available. We need to hook up this ribbon cable, which is the last important part. And this ribbon cable has teeth on this side. Can you see them? They're gold or copper, and they go right up against the connection. And this is when a lot of people get really frustrated, because the seating process can be a little difficult. You have to come over these two screw-in slots, so I push them in just a bit so that I can get it down, and I can start to work everything into its grooves, and then just work it in nice and slow, massage it, and then you'll hear some snaps, and it's back together. So the next thing, before I screw anything in, I'm gonna press fit everything just to check it. Buttons seem to work, face button feels good, or the D-pad, face buttons feel excellent. PlayStation button works, and we got a light, which is important. Very strong L2 R2, very strong L1 R1, option and share, and touchpad. Everything is a go. So now all we've got to do, folks, is put the 4 screws back in, and we will be golden, and we can give this controller back to its owner, which I'm sure is waiting on it, because it took me a week to get to it, so I'm sorry about that. There you go, guys. So he does have some different buttons in the back, but I don't think he'll mind much. Controls in brand new condition, excellent. I'm gonna give it back to the owner, and that'll be that. That's how you take your controller apart and maintenance it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to check out my Facebook page. You can get to any of those different social media that I'm on by going to my YouTube channel, and it's right in the upper or in the lower right of my banner. So definitely check that out. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.